All right, so we're diving into something today that I think everybody listening can relate to.
Yeah.
And that is, that feeling of being a beginner at something.
Right.
And we're going to be looking at this idea through the lens of somebody learning a new language.
Okay.
So specifically English.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at a podcast episode called Conversations in English.
Interesting.
And this is episode 2.
Okay.
It's called First Day, Arrival and Challenges.
Makes sense.
And it follows a character named Alex, who is in a new country.
Oh, cool.
And we get to sort of eavesdrop on his experience as he navigates these sort of everyday scenarios, like going through the airport and checking into a hotel and even ordering room service.
Oh, that's cool.
All in a foreign language.
I bet there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think even if you're not a language learner yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of interesting insights we can glean from this experience.
What's really fascinating to me is how the episode shows that you can communicate really effectively, even with just a few basic phrases.
Right.
It makes you realize how complex language is,
Yeah.
but also how much you can achieve with just a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
The episode starts with Alex landing at the airport.
Okay, the classic,
Right.
the arrival scene.
Crowded terminals, confusing announcements,
Wow.
A whirlwind of new sights and sounds.
Yeah.
And of course, he needs to get to his hotel.
Of course.
So he manages to hail a taxi.
Okay.
And he's a little hesitant at first.
Understandable.
But then he tells the driver, I need to go to the city center hotel.
It's amazing how such a simple phrase can be so effective.
Right.
I need to go to blank.
Yeah.
It's like you can use that in so many situations.
Right.
And it instantly makes your intention clear. But what I find really interesting is like the little confidence boost that Alex gets after this first interaction.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this small victory
Yeah.
that sets the tone for his whole experience.
You're right. It's like, okay, I can do this.
Exactly. It's like that little moment of,
Yeah, I love how the episode captures that.
yeah.
But then comes the next hurdle,
Okay.
checking into the hotel.
Ooh, yeah, that could be tricky.
This scene, I think, is really fascinating because it brings in the element of, like, nonverbal communication.
Right, body language.
Yeah, Alex might be feeling a bit nervous.
Yeah.
But it's his posture, his eye contact, even his tone of voice. All of that contributes to the effectiveness of his communication.
For sure.
He approaches the receptionist and says, I have a reservation.
Okay.
The name is Alex Miller.
Simple and to the point.
Right. And again, these are simple phrases, but they're clear.
Yeah.
And his delivery is confident.
Right.
And it ensures a smooth check-in.
It just shows that communication is about so much more than just the words themselves, right?
Exactly.
It's about that confidence that you project.
Yes.
Even when you're in a new situation.
Right.
And you might be feeling intimidated.
Exactly. But I'm curious, though.
Yeah.
Is it enough to just rely on these really basic phrases? Won't Alex eventually need to, like, go beyond this to have more meaningful conversations?
That's a great question. And it leads us to this key concept in language learning.
Okay.
Formulaic language.
Okay.
So like in the early stages,
Yeah.
learners often rely on these like prefabricated phrases
Right.
to navigate basic interaction.
Right.
You know, they're like building blocks
Yeah.
for fluency.
I like that.
So as Alex gets more comfortable,
Right.
he'll naturally start experimenting with like new words and structures and gradually expand his linguistic toolkit.
So it's not just about memorizing phrases. It's about using them as stepping stones to more complex communication. That's a really helpful insight, I think.
I think so too.
Especially for anyone who might be feeling overwhelmed by the thought of learning a new language.
Right.
It shows that small steps can lead to big progress.
Absolutely. And you know what's fascinating?
Yeah.
This principle, it applies not only to language learning, but to communication in general.
Oh, interesting.
Think about those times when you're nervous about speaking up,
Mm-hmm.
like giving a presentation or asking someone on a date.
Oh, yeah.
Those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Clarity and confidence.
Yeah.
Even with like a limited vocabulary of ideas,
Right.
it can make all the difference.
Okay, so Alex has braved the airport. He's checked into the hotel.
He's doing good.
But now a new challenge awaits.
What's that?
His stomach is rumbling.
Oh, he's hungry.
Hmm.
So he's alone in his room in a new country.
Hmm.
He needs to order food.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a situation that could trigger some serious anxiety.
Oh, absolutely.
Even for like experienced language learners.
I've totally been there. It's that feeling of, oh no, what if I mess this up?
Totally.
What if I end up with a dish I don't even recognize?
Exactly.
But Alex picks up the room service menu.
Good for him.
And he tackles this challenge head on.
I love it.
And this is where I think the episode gets really clever.
How so?
Because it brings in this element of comfort.
Okay.
You know, like Alex doesn't try to order something super fancy or exotic.
Right.
He goes for like the familiar.
Gotcha.
He's like, I would like to order food.
Okay.
Can I have a cheeseburger and a Coke?
Classic.
I mean, so relatable, right?
Totally.
I remember when I was traveling in Italy, and I was just overwhelmed by all the pasta options.
Yeah.
And in the end, I just ordered spaghetti with tomato sauce.
Sometimes you just got to stick with what you know.
Exactly. Especially when you're already dealing with so much new information.
It's not just about linguistic simplicity either.
Right.
It's about emotional comfort.
I like that.
Choosing familiar foods can give you a sense of security,
Yeah.
normalcy.
Yeah, it's like a little piece of home.
Right.
Right there in your hotel room.
Exactly.
But it's not just about the food choices. It's about the phrases he uses,
Right.
To actually place the order.
Yeah.
He keeps it really simple and direct.
Right.
I would like, can I have...
So basic, but so effective.
Right. They might seem basic, but those phrases are incredibly versatile.
They really are.
And I think they demonstrate a key principle of effective communication.
Yep, that.
Clarity.
Oh, yeah.
By using simple, unambiguous language, Alex minimizes the risk of misunderstandings.
Right. He's not leaving any room for interpretation.
Exactly. He's conveying his needs directly.
And this applies to all communication, not just ordering room service.
Oh, for sure.
Think about like giving instructions,
Yeah.
explaining a complex idea, or even like negotiating a deal.
Right.
Clarity is key.
It's so true. It makes me think about all those times when I've tried to be too clever.
Right.
Or too eloquent, and I've just ended up confusing the other person.
Sometimes the simplest approach is the best one.
It's like that famous quote, perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. And I think it applies perfectly to language learning.
How so?
When we're trying to become fluent,
Yeah.
we often try to cram in as many fancy words and grammatical structures as possible.
It's like we want to show off everything we know.
Right. But sometimes the most elegant solution is the simplest one.
Keep it simple. Keep it clear.
Exactly. So we've seen Alex navigate the airport, the hotel check-in, even the room service menu.
He's on a roll.
All with a relatively limited vocabulary.
Impressive.
I think it's really inspiring, especially for anyone who might be intimidated by learning a new language.
I agree.
It proves that you don't need to be a linguistic expert to communicate effectively.
Yeah. Just shows that, you don't have to be like a master of the language
Right.
to get your point across.
Exactly. And it's really about, having the confidence to try and to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. And what I find so fascinating is how Alex's confidence grows.
Yes.
Like after each interaction.
Totally.
It shows how these small wins can have such a big impact on language learning.
Yeah, and probably on anything new that we're trying to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the episode does a great job of illustrating this point. Language learning, it's not just about the words and grammar.
Right.
It's also about developing that sense of self-assurance.
Sure.
Like Alex's journey reminds us that fluency isn't a destination, it's a process.
Yeah.
And every step along the way can be really empowering.
Got it.
Even if you stumble over a few words or make a mistake, the important thing is to just keep communicating.
So to kind of wrap things up,
Yeah.
we've seen how Alex, with just a handful of essential phrases,
Right.
can confidently navigate a new country.
I mean, he tackled the airport, the
Right.
hotel check-in, even room service.
I know, it's pretty impressive.
All with remarkable resilience and resourcefulness.
Yeah. And his experience, I think, offers valuable lessons for all of us,
Definitely.
even if we're not learning a new language.
It highlights the importance of clear, concise communication,
Right.
the power of nonverbal cues, and that strategic use of like formulaic language
Yeah.
to build fluency and confidence.
It's a good reminder that effective communication isn't about complexity.
Right.
It's about connecting with others.
Yeah, in a meaningful way.
Exactly. So here's a final thought for you to kind of chew on.
Okay.
How can you apply these communication techniques in your own life?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Whether it's giving a presentation at work, negotiating a raise, or just having a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Remember the lessons from Alex.
Keep it simple. Keep it clear. Be confident.
Clarity, confidence, and a willingness to learn.
Those are the keys to unlocking the power of communication.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep those conversations flowing.